It's been a rocky few months for Queensland's public service, with the new LNP government rolling out departmental change and severe job cuts. Campbell Newman says the cuts are needed to rein in the state's budget deficit, and I'll speak to the Premier about that shortly. But for those in the firing line, it's a hard reality to swallow. Tonight, 7:30 Queensland meets a former public servant who says she was assured personally by Campbell Newman before the election that her job was safe. Kieran McKechnie has this story.
During the election, Campbell Newman promised public servants had nothing to fear from him.
Labor have employed 20,000 more public servants than the people of Queensland can currently afford. If we failed to act in the way that we are, that Queensland would ultimately be the Spain of Australian state.
This evening, thousands of people gathered outside State Parliament to protest against the job losses.
We are in the process of putting together a budget, which is incredibly difficult. I suspect that there will be decisions in that process which will be distressing for us and distressing for the people of Queensland.
Distressing is an understatement for Lucille Reardon. The 33-year-old single mother lost her public sector job a month ago. She'd worked for the Queensland government for 5 years, yet got little warning when her job came to an end.
Yeah, we were told on the Thursday that we would finish up on that Friday. Then it was very scary and emotional because I didn't want to leave and I really enjoyed the work that I was doing and I didn't know what was going to happen.
With a big mortgage and the bills coming in, she's getting desperate. The former research officer has been applying for 10 to 12 jobs a day for weeks and still can't find work.
I've actually even put my name down at Coles. I don't mind what I do, I just need work because I am a single mum and I've got a mortgage and I don't mind what I do. So I've been applying for cleaning jobs, I've been putting my name down at Myers, everywhere.
The problem is Lucille Reardon is just one of so many public servants now on the jobs market. Even her sister lost her public service position on the same day. Nearly 5,000 workers have already got the cut. Another 15,000 are bracing for the same fate.
They've got mortgages and families, kids to educate. It's a very sad situation. Totally unmooted before the election, totally unexpected.
What we're producing in conjunction with the Together Union is a myths and facts document.
Since the wave of jobs cuts began, Queensland's union movement has been meeting regularly to plan what it'll do next.
We have the resources to be able to combat the government with these bad decisions, certainly in terms of public services. We'll have a very loud message around the state budget on September 11. We have a program in place to defend what we've got.
Many of you do jobs that aren't obvious to the man or the woman on the street, but those jobs are still essential.
At this stage, that program has come in two forms. It's been getting its message out to the wider community and is planning a second mass rally on Parliament House. And it's commissioned its own audit to try to combat the government's bleak assessment of Queensland's coffers.
I think what will be proven to be the truth here is the Queensland government is totally exaggerated the financial position to be able to implement its strategy of slashing and burning services that they don't think are of any great value.
But others believe Campbell Newman is on the money.
The state has been flirting with bankruptcy potentially. The growth in debt over the last few years has been extremely high.
Mark McGovern is a senior lecturer at QUT's business school. While he agrees the Newman government had to take drastic action, he doesn't think it's taken the right approach.
It's not an easy problem to solve. However, I think they need to think more broadly. I think they need to actually think what strategies are applicable to a problem of this size, not just, we think job cutting will solve the problem. It won't.
He fears the sweeping job cuts could come at the expense of the economy.
We do need to make some cuts. There's no way of getting around that. But we need to make them in such a way that we come out stronger at the end. We don't sort of cut off our leg and walk around one-legged for the next 10 years. Cutting the jobs may reduce services and incomes more than it actually saves money in the net figure. It may fix something in the state budget this year, but it may cause economic problems and public costs across Australia in the longer term.
Finally, To all Queenslanders, thank you once
In the
again.
short term, that could also hurt the LNP's electoral fortunes, according to political economist Jeff Dow. He points out the Premier keeps saying the state has 20,000 more public servants than it can afford, not more than it needs. If Queenslanders feel they're not getting the services when and where they expect them, he says they'll let Campbell Newman know at the ballot box.
If it's perceived that some of the cutbacks are unnecessary, and it seems to me that that is the situation that pertains in Queensland, and Queensland's got a reputation of reacting fairly extremely to these sorts of high levels of dissatisfaction with the political process.
Lucille Reardon already feels a huge dissatisfaction with Campbell Newman's handling of the political process. He approached her while campaigning in Ashgrove during the election campaign, and she insists he gave her an assurance her job would be safe.
When I said to him, I'm a temporary employee, and he said, you know, my plan is not to do that, it's to make Queensland a better and stronger place. I'm not planning on doing anything, you know, I'm trying to fight for jobs, I'm trying to get people jobs. And then, you know, it was not even that much longer after I had that conversation with him, I lost my job. And my daughter was with me. And she really says to me, oh, there's Campbell, when she sees him on the news. Or we were speaking to another lady who doesn't work, and she said, oh, I don't work. And Violet, my daughter, said, did Campbell get rid of you too?
Lucille Reardon says she feels betrayed by Campbell Newman, but that's an emotion she doesn't have time for. What she needs right now is a job.
I'm trying to take it a day at a time, but my main focus is to try and get a job and keep me and Violet in our house.
Kieran McKechnie.